We have Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas. Paul Rudd plays a character named Scott Lang, who's actually a criminal, but he's more of a small time crook. He actually, when we first see his character, he's actually just about to be released from prison. He tries to actually when he leaves prison, he actually wants to try to better himself. He wants to try to prove to his wife that he's a great husband still, prove to his daughter, who his daughter actually loves him so much, to actually still be a great father to her. The only thing is that his ex-wife is actually married to a cop who's actually put Scott away, I think, a couple times. The way it seems like he's put him away at least once or twice before, even before this film was even out, kind of thing. Scott ends up meeting a character named Dr. Hank, played by Michael Douglas, who was the original Ant-Man, and also the original creator of Ant-Man 2. Well, at first Scott thinks that Dr. Hank is just pretty much just a crazy old man, and just leave it at that. Dr. Hank finally convinces Scott to be the next Ant-Man because the world could be coming to an end because of a character named Dr. Cross, who is actually the villain of your story. You pretty much see this guy a mile away, and they don't like hide or anything. You just know right off the bat this guy is the villain. This guy is just sick in the head. He actually is the person who creates Yellow Jacket. When we first see Yellow Jacket, we see him very, very tiny. Well, eventually they finally perfect what they need to do to make, a normal object, a normal kind of a human size, but they do test animals to make them small, but not to kill them. Definitely one thing I want to say about Dr. Cross or Yellow Jacket, I love this villain. He actually was a great villain. I love to see him on the screen. He does a great job. He's a sicko, like I said he's supposed to be. And Ant-Man, which is of course Scott's character, needs to actually stop him before he actually makes an army of Yellow Jackets to take over the world. This film was just fun from beginning to end. I really loved this film. I really enjoyed everything. The humor was great. The biggest thing I got to say was this is a movie that you have to say, or in my opinion, this is a movie I have to say that this is what you call a great summer movie. Not saying every movie has to be like this that comes out in the summertime, but off-the-wall stuff that just goes... This is what you actually call a summer movie. Definitely a great popcorn kind of movie because it's just funny. The dialogue, I loved almost everything about this movie. I chuckled and I laughed so much in this film, more than I have in a long time. The last time I ever saw, the last time I ever saw a great Marvel movie was Blade back in 1998, and that's even before they started doing everything with the Avengers and Iron Man and all the solo movies to become the Avengers. Michael Douglas is probably the greatest. I would say Michael Douglas is probably the greatest actor in this movie, and then Paul Rudd comes right. Michael Douglas was probably the greatest actor in this film. Paul Rudd was right behind him, and then you had Yellow Jacket right below Paul Rudd because that guy was just a psycho, and I really loved his character. The only problem I had with the film, and a lot of the superhero movies have done this recently, where they don't show the villain as much as I wish they would. The villain is definitely one of the best things about not just a superhero movie, but just an action movie overall. I want to see a lot more of the villain. I want to see a lot more with Yellow Jacket. Unfortunately, you don't see Yellow Jacket until more towards the end of the film. When Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket fight each other, no matter if they're big or if they're small, it was just a great fight between them. And even with Ant-Man versus all the different henchmen in the film, the action in this film was just awesome, was great. I loved everything about this film. But like I said, the only problem was really with the villain. One of my favorite scenes, if you've seen the movie already, you know it. If you haven't seen the movie, you definitely have to check out the movie. But one of my favorite scenes is that Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man, when they're fighting towards the end of the film, they're fighting in a suitcase. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But I have to say that was probably my best scene in this film, was the suitcase fight, my opinion. Ant-Man is definitely one of those movies you gotta go see. There's some surprise people in this movie that I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually put them in this movie. But Ant-Man is definitely a movie, definitely a recommend, definitely something you gotta check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. If you definitely like this, please like, please comment. And like I said, was Ant-Man you gotta go see. You guys take care. I'll see you next time.